Hi, this is Joe, and welcome to my second video talking about track systems. In my first video, I talked about the Lionel Fastrack system and what I liked about it and what I didn't like, advantages, disadvantage. In this video, I want to talk about the MTH Realtrax system. Okay. Now, as you can see, as I mentioned on the first video, there is a noticeable difference. Okay. You could tell the plastic ballast is darker on the MTH track. The ties on the Fastrack are brown, whereas they're black here on the MTH. But the MTH ties, if you can see here, a little bit more detailed. You can actually see where they actually clip onto the rail here. A little bit more detailed, not as many. I don't know if that's prototypical or not, but I do kind of like the look of the Realtrack a little bit better than the Fastrack. I almost wish MTH would try to make a lighter colored ballast. Okay, I really wish they would. Now, you can weather the ballast on either one of these track systems. It's a big job. Okay, it really is. You're talking about doing each track, each section one at a time. That's a big job. But another thing about the Realtrack, if you notice, it is a T-rail track. Okay, it's brass. You got two outer rails, you got the center rail, and it is a T-rail track. The center rail sides are blackened. Okay, kind of looks kind of nice. When Realtrack was first introduced, it was a solid rail track. But what MTH tried to do a few years ago, just to try and save some money, is they went with a tubular track. So as you can see, it's still a tubular track, like the Fastrack, but it is shaped into a T-rail system, where it's flat on top, whereas the Lionel is more kind of rounded on top. I like the look of this rail better, okay? I really do. If you look real quick here, the profile, I mentioned this in the last video, the Fastrack is wider, the Fastrack is taller, okay? And there are more differences. Where Fastrack uses a pin system to connect the rails track to track here, what MTH does is they have these little springs here, okay? And these springs kind of rub up against each other as you're putting the track together, okay? Now, I read somewhere where it's a kind of a good idea to just kind of take a little needle-nose pliers, maybe just give them just a little slight bend. This way, when the track systems are the two pieces are going together, they you just get a better connection. Okay. And now these two pieces are brand new, so it might be a little bit difficult. But basically, all you're doing is lining up those two plastic tabs on top of these plastic, I don't know, connectors or whatever they are. And you kind of slide them on top of each other, and these plastic tabs will go under the rail on each section of the track. Let's see if we can get it together here. There we go. Looks pretty good, okay? I have to admit, though, the two tracks joined together don't look quite as good as the Fastrack. The Fastrack is a bit of a tighter connection, okay? The Realtrack also, I've noticed there's some gaps, and I don't know if it's just with these two pieces, but there's a little bit of a gap here. And as you run your fingers over, okay, I'm feeling a bump right here. Whereas when your train's going over, you might actually see a bump there. Maybe not though. But when it was really bad, what I used to do at Fastrack is I would just kind of grind it down a little bit with my Dremel tool, a little bit. This was when it was this made a lot of people were talking about this when this was first introduced. A lot of people liked it. I never owned any until recently. I like the look of it. I was familiar with it. I had friends and family members who had Christmas trains around their tree, and they had MTH. They had this track, and I would recommend this track system at the time. I said, instead of putting the tubular track on the floor, if you bought a Lionel set, pick up a circle of MTH track. It has the plastic road bed, and it just runs better on carpet, especially around a Christmas tree, And I think that was what they had in mind when they made this track, okay? But what happened is guys started taking it a little bit more seriously and started using it on their layouts and stuff like that. I'm going to be using it on my layout. Underneath here, you can see all the connections that are made here. And you get these holes here. They make like a rubber foot here that they slide into each one of these holes. And I guess it's for running it on hardwood floors or something like that. I don't know. But I like the look of this track. I always kind of thought it was a pretty good looking track. I don't know if it's better to look in the Lionel's track. It's just different, okay? It's just different. Tightest radius curve it comes in is 031. Okay, that's an 031 curve, as opposed to the Fastrack. Tightest radius curve of Fastrack is 36. So you can see a difference right off the bat. This is an issue when you're running larger trains. A lot of larger engines and some rolling stock and passenger cars won't go around a 31-inch curve. Okay, a lot of them do. Okay, so it's really not that big of an issue. Most of my stuff is 031. All of my stuff is 031 compatible, so that's not going to be an issue for me. The only thing that might be an issue is some of my larger. I have a couple of large passenger cars. Might be an issue. I don't know. As far as electrical connections, what you got to do here with the Realtrax is they have each section of track has these like pre-cut tabs here, and one on each side. Curved sections have it too. Basically, all you want to do is take a pliers here, kind of rock this back and forth, and that tab will pop right out. And you can see it's got these connectors right here on each side. And I'm not going to do it with this section because I already have one. I already have one that I notched out. And they make these lock-ons, these light lock-ons. This is all part of their plug-and-play system. And basically, what you want to do is you turn the track over. I find it easier to do it from the underneath. What you do is once you have that notch out, you kind of slide the lock-on in. If you'll notice, it goes underneath the center rail and the outer rail. Just locks in. Got your lock-on. Okay, and got your power connections. And a lot of guys don't like this. They think it's kind of ugly looking. I haven't decided if I like it or not. I've actually seen one guy I know, actually he popped the bulb out, okay, and out of like little pieces of styrofoam and plaster, he made like a rock here, so it looked like there was a rock here, so you didn't see the lock-on, you know. And, you know, that's fine, you know, but I'm sure there's a way you could also, this lights up obviously, you could, you know, connect your wires underneath here and run your wires right underneath your layout. I'm sure there's something you could do that way. I'll probably look into that. I don't know if I'm going to be using the lock-ons or not. Again, a T-rail track. It looks really nice. One of the things, and I'm not going to get into, like I mentioned, not going to get into talking about switches right now, but one thing with the MTH, if you're running DCS, if you're in the DCS system, they make an accessory interface unit, it's called. Basically what it is, it's a box. And you can take your switches, and you can wire your switches into that box. The 4 wires or 3 wires that come out of the switch will wire into the accessory interface unit. The accessory interface unit talks to the handheld remote, and you can use your handheld remote to throw switches, to record a scenario, and it'll throw the switches automatically. See, now with the Fastrack, you can't do that. With the Fastrack, what they're not out yet, but Lionel is putting out command control switches where you're going to be able to do that. I understand that, I know there's a switch controller that Lionel makes that will work with you know, with the Lionel Cab 1 or the Cab 2, but it's another component you have to buy, and you run your switches into the switch controller. But it's another, you know, unit. And I don't know how many switches it throws. I know the MTH will accept, the AIU will accept 10 switches. Okay, and it's a relatively affordable device. It's just a box. It's like about $100. And with that box, you can run 10 switches into it, and you can run, I think, 10 accessories into it. And again, I don't want to get into any of the switches, talking about the switches right now, because I don't have any MTH switches right now. I hope to have a couple in a couple of weeks. But this is the track system I'm going to go with, because my layout is 5.5 by 9. And using a 31-inch curve, I'm going to be able to get a lot more out of it. I really wish I thought of this, and I really wish I started really looking at the MTH stuff earlier. But I just wanted to let you guys know this is what I'm going with. This is the difference between the two tracks. And I hope it helps you make a decision on what kind of track system you want to use. Thanks for watching.